that goes into it, into the perfect place for it. We got to, for the fire station, it's just like, can the trucks make the turns? There's just a lot that you wouldn't think that you got to think about. And we've given it a lot of thought.
Well, and quite
We're
frankly,
almost there.
Yeah, they have police, fire, and city staff are working in a building that doesn't work. So we want to step this out carefully, Seth, so that we're aware the building that they will have going forward will be what they need for the long haul.
Well, and also to that end, I mean, you talked about the right space. You need to have accessibility for those engines and that sort of thing. Additionally, you've got to think about centrality and where this is located in terms of, like, can they get to all sides of the community quickly and efficiently and all of those things. You can't just stick them on the other side of the highway where they're going to have to wait for traffic to pass and all those things. So there's a lot to consider with this location.
But I think we've actually narrowed it down, especially in the last couple of weeks. I think we've been a little more excited about talking to these folks and moving forward, where in a month or so we ought to be able to say this is where this is going, because we need all three to be going. We're not going to just build one and say maybe next year
we can get to that one.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
We've kicked that can down the road enough.
Sure.
And if of all people that deserve to have adequate and safe places to work, it's our city staff and certainly our first responders.
No question. To that end, I know we've talked, affording this, the dream was kind of everything in one location, but I don't know, from the vibe you're giving me, that may not be the case. We may have different locations for all of these. We'll maybe cross that bridge when the road gets to it later. But how about affordability on this? Can the city afford three new buildings, and how do we pay for those?
Well, we've spoken to Clint, our treasurer, several times. He doesn't like those conversations because when you talk to a treasurer, there's like that conversation doesn't necessarily go like we like it to go, because our mindset is we found the place. We know what we're going to build. Find the money, Clint. Well, that's what we say, and he's like, well, where am I supposed to find the money? So,
but he has, in fairness to Clint, I think he has, without putting this, somebody told me a while back, you don't need a $20 million. You don't need to spend $20 million on this. And I can tell you, I can't tell you an exact figure, but I can tell you it's considerably less than $20 million. You don't have to.
Does the city have that kind of money?
The city has money to help support this building these three, and they have access to money to do this.
Would there be a tax increase? I think a lot of people wonder that.
We're trying not to. Yeah,
right.
We're
and
trying
at
not
this
to.
time,
Yeah.
I would say today the answer would be no, because we're trying to figure out how to do this. I think Clint has figured out how to do this. We do have a little in reserves. The council and the people are careful as they can be with money. So we do have a little in reserves to help kick this off. And I think that securing additional money does not mean that we have to secure a tax increase.
So to recap, no location is finalized. You've got ideas, working towards acquiring some land. With that in mind, perhaps an announcement maybe early April. We'll try not to do it on April Fool's Day. That would be a mean trick. And then when this announcement comes, when do you hope to see like dirt move and just get this ball rolling? It's been a solid year. We've been talking about this.
It has been. I think that if we're making the announcement, then we've secured the property. Then we have something secured for that. Then going forward, it's getting engineers and it's getting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have designs and all that?
And to work on that, we're in the process of that as well.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's getting that stuff on paper to move forward. My goal is always, before the ground freezes, we have broken ground and we have made progress.
Like you're talking next year?
Before the end of 2026.
Oh, we'd have to like play this out that long, huh?
I would say so, yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah. Well, again, trying to just But it's going to take a while to get the land. I mean, we're
Oh.
we're in the very early stages of
And
this.
that's really
of
only
the
9
land.
months we're
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
here. If we say the end of 26.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I feel like it's a long time from making the announcement in April to you're talking, October, November,
Yeah.
December, moving ground.
Yeah.
That's a long time
Yeah.
for me. I don't know.
Well, and maybe it is. We haven't really talked about
Right,
that
right.
so much as to just identifying the land and where
Right.
it possibly will land.
For you, it's one step at a time.
It is,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's we're in the early stages of the budget
Mhm.
for this year going into 2027, and that the money topic came up during the budget cycle. So we know, I mean, having a very good conversation with Clint, we know what we need to budget. I mean, we know how much we have to work with, and we have to make sure that we're able to make it happen with that amount of money. I mean, we know we were told that, I don't know what the other before you what those quotes came in, but they were very high, and we know we can't do that. So if we want a new fire station, police department, city hall, we know what the budget is, and it's not near what it came in at 2 years ago when they
Sure,
talked about this.
sure.
So,
I'm sorry. One more thing on this. You're saying trying to commit to no tax increase. I mean, can't say never, but trying to commit to no tax increase. What about like having to scale back services or in any way? Would this impact however the city operates from a service standpoint?
that's never been discussed.
No.
No,
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
No.
Just was curious.
Yeah.
Very good. Good discussion on that. Did I miss anything in that, guys? No?
No, I think you've got it all.
All right, very good. Again, Mayor Helen Michelassi, City Administrator Tony Harris, following up the Tuesday or the Monday night, I guess, Clinton City Council meeting. We shifted back to Monday. By the way, I learned literally yesterday evening that that's a law now. You can't have a meeting on election day. So, yeah, interesting. I want to ask about we heard a presentation about TIFs, Tony. This is something we've talked. It feels like every visit we're talking TIFs and districts and development and housing. And I enjoyed the presentation by Tony, however you say his last name.
Kokomo.
The mayor coming in hot with the pronunciation. Kokomo.
Yeah.
How about that? How about what he had to say?
Well, in the very early stages of that too, like you said, every time I'm in here over the last 6 months, I keep talking about TIF, and we cannot see economic growth, we feel, without a successful district in town. And I mentioned the old TIF district that's now expired, that will end this year, and be put back on the tax roll. We talked about that, and that if it weren't for that TIF district, Illini Drive, the schools, the 2 new schools out there, and the new subdivisions out there, and all that would not even be possible without it. So that's a success story. We want to move into the plan with the new TIF districts to build off what we know works out in there. So what he mentioned last night, Tony, with Heartland Ventures Ltd, he mentioned a new subdivision that they're planning on building on the east side of town. It would be over on North Street, North and State Highway 54, building 25 to 30 units. We believe some of those, if not all of them, might be duplexes, 2-bedroom units. So again, in the early stages of this, and last night what was voted on was just an inducement resolution. Basically, it's a non-binding agreement, basically saying that if we are successful in getting a TIF district in that area, you can take advantage of it. And and that's just the start of it. So we're hoping like I mentioned at the last meeting, there's lots of a TIF district, an area will have to qualify. There's seven things that you must qualify. I can't remember what those 7 are, but one's like blighted areas, the aged buildings, if the area doesn't have infrastructure like roads, sewer, and water, those type of things. So we're confident that area will qualify. Again, we're working with our consultant with that. But that presentation was on the new subdivision to build some new housing and duplexes. And again, we're still working with the consultant on the TIF district.
How many TIF districts do you think we'll end up with?
I think that we will start with one.
Okay.
When you think of a TIF
Will
district,
it be a big one?
I don't. It won't be very large. Again, if you remember, I started with that discussion with 2 TIF districts, very large in size, and I was told, listen, you need to scale that down. It's if you
By
want
the
to be
consultant or the
by the
mayor?
consultant,
Okay.
by the consultant.
The
She was
mayor
on. I
would
think
like
she
to
was
have
on
5
board.
TIF
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because
So-
yeah. So we had to scale it down just because we're in a pinch here with that project, with the new subdivision and housing, and then some other things we're working on. We were told that those 2 large TIF districts would take too long to get them going, and it wouldn't be beneficial for those projects. So
Gotcha.
basically, like I mentioned before, I identified some areas on the map where we want to see growth, like the west side of Clinton, and some areas where there's been some interest in some builds, like what Tony talked about last night. So with that, I think we're going to start with 1 TIF district, and then we'll get everything started, and then we'll build off of that. When I say everything, I talked about this the last time too. I can identify 7 projects that we're either working on or we've been approached to develop projects in our city, and that is great news. We just don't have any shovels in the dirt yet, but I think it's winter. We're coming out of winter, getting into spring, so I think we're going to be seeing some good things coming up here in the next few months. We talked about City Hall, police department, fire. That's just one of them. I think we're going to see some business growth and those type of things too, and
Business growth, some housing growth.
a lot of good things going on, and
Yeah.
it's been a lot of work. And the TIF district, and yes, I mention it every time I'm in. You're going to keep hearing me mention it because it's so important for development.
Yeah, I mean, really, and I go back to our conversation, Tony, at the start of the year. I think I kind of put you on the spot. Is 2026 going to be a banner year for Clinton? And I know you were just really, really excited about what was to come. And it's slow getting there, but I think once we get there, it's just going to really just take off. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, some said that 2025 was a banner year with the announcement of the
Meta,
2, those types, the Quick Wall and the Myers. But no, I think we're going to keep growing off that. I mean, I think that started it.
Hey, is Quickwell in Mount Pulaski, by the way?
They are.
I saw
Yes.
there. I was over there for baseball last week, and I saw Quickwall. I was like, I wonder if that's the same people.
It
So
is.
Mount Pulaski, okay,
It
Yeah,
is,
good for
and
them. Good for them.
yeah, so they're going to keep that location, but they've already mentioned expanding, here in Clinton. So, and that's, when we hear that, that's where we're thinking, okay, if they're already talking about expanding, we need to include them in a TIF district as well. So there's lots of discussion like that. We have to make sure that when we're talking TIF district, that we put it in an area that can be useful and we can expand on it if necessary.
Very good. Very good. Well, on that note, friends, let's take a break. I've zoomed way past our scheduled break, but we'll hit it now and come back with more with Clinton Mayor Helen Michelassi and City Administrator Tony Harris following up the Monday night Clinton City Council meeting. More to come with them on the morning show.
WHOW.
Information.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans higher, wheat trading lower. May corn down 3 1/4, 4.50 3/4. July corn down 3 1/2, 4.62 1/4. New crop December 4.78 3/4, down 1 1/4. May beans up 4 1/4, 11.59 1/2. July beans up 6 1/4, 11.73 3/4. New crop November 11.38 1/4. Up 17 1/2. May Chicago wheat 5.89 3/4, down 7 1/2. May KC wheat down 10 3/4, 6.05 3/4. May bean meal 309.70, down 2.50. May bean oil up $1.75, 65.69. Livestock trade March feeders 356.80, up $1.35. April live cattle up 70 cents, 233.95. April lean hogs up 1/4, 93.75. Energy market April crude oil up $1.63, 95.13. RFD Radio Network.
Good morning. I'm Ben Lowers, and I'm running for DeWitt County Sheriff. For 30 years, I've dedicated my career to protecting communities. I started as a 911 dispatcher, learning how to handle a crisis before I ever stepped into a squad car. I've served 25 years with the Clinton Police Department, the last 12 as Clinton's chief of police. I understand every level of public safety because I've lived it on the very front lines. As your sheriff, I'll bring that diverse experience, passion for law enforcement and leadership, and a steady hand to all of DeWitt County. I'm Ben Lowers, and I'm asking for your vote on March 17th.
Paid for by citizens who elect Ben Lowers.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. Again, my guests in studio today, Mayor Helen Michelassi and City Administrator Tony Harris, as we follow up the Monday night Clinton City Council meeting. And Tony, I see you're wearing the green today. Mrs. Mayor, you're Irish and you're not even in green.
Know. I'm so Irish, I don't have to wear green.
That's, yes, there you go.
It's so obvious.
It's so obvious. Very good. Hey, I'll tell you what, Mrs. Mayor, you gave us an update on the Block by Block program last night. First of all, remind us what this program is, what it's all about.
Block by Block is a program where the city will invest a little bit of money, and then they will also take donations from corporations, individuals, and faith communities to help families who are struggling to maintain their property. So maybe you have a property where they need a dumpster and they need some volunteers to come in and fill that and come in and tear out trees or shrubbery that needs just cleaning up a property and changing that curb appeal for that family. I volunteered with it in Macon County in the past. It's called Block by Block because you can literally go down a street, pick a street. People will sign up. Mm-hmm. They'll reach out to me and we will sign you up and to be considered to be a part of the program.
Sure. When do you hope to get this ball rolling?
This spring.
This spring. Okay.
Yes.
And you said a little bit of money, but a whole lot of labor. Labor's more than
that's absolutely right. Because when you're buying some rock and mulch and some bushes to throw in somebody's yard or a couple of pots, that's one thing. But Tony's absolutely right. We're going to be looking for businesses and individuals and faith communities. And we've already had 2 faith communities reach out and say, how can we help? We're going to want to be a part of this. Mm-hmm. It takes about 8 or 10 volunteers per property usually. Mm-hmm. But you can do 10 properties in a day.
Yeah. And think of the progress. I mean, you've talked about the beautification of the city, keeping your property up and well, and those sorts of things. Think of the progress you can make in a summer on this.
Statistically, they keep the properties up. In Decatur, where we did it, years later, I ran into a woman who said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "No, I'm sorry." She said, "Well, you did my house. Mm-hmm. You helped redo my house. That was years ago." And she said, "It still looks the same. It still looks good."
Yeah.
So if they can have that hand up,
mm-hmm. and it becomes then, I would think it becomes a matter of you don't want to let the people down that gave you that hand up. You're talking about, so.
And Clinton's a great city. I say this all the time. Mm-hmm. It's easier sometimes, I think, to point out what's not happening that you want or what's not going well. But right now we're tripping over what's going well. And we're so excited about bringing the community together to help the community because people want something to do to help.
Sure. Very good. Anything else on that, Mrs. Mayor?
No, I hope to have volunteer sign-up sheets and applications ready to go within a month.
There you go. So we'll be on the lookout.
And I mentioned that it's, budget cycle. We're talking about the budget, and we did put a little bit of money into the budget for just this. We've also got some ideas through the TIF district, maybe not through the TIF district, but we've also got some ideas of expanding this block by block to help with, home fix-ups, like sort of what we do on the square with the facade grant, but more on a residential side in the very early stages of that.
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah. So
it's like a home improvement type of tip.
Yeah. So, again, the mayor and I, we work great together. She's the one that came up with the idea of the block by block. And I came up with the idea, well, why don't we just do something like the facade grant, but more on a residential side. So with those 2 things, we can do great things in the city to get it cleaned up. And I've said it before, economic development starts with getting your city cleaned up and looking nice, because they're gonna drive through the town,
right.
any
and
potential
Tony and
new
I sit
business.
here and talk about it, but there's other council members who are equally as excited, I think, when Tony reaches out and has those conversations about this with them to just move things forward.
Yeah. And we do, we talk, the mayor and I, we work good together, but we also, I mean, she's talking to the other commissioners. I'm always talking, they know what we're working on. It's kind of hard because you can't get them all together in the same room, so we have to have that one-on-one conversation.
Sure. I had to give you the times up, guys.
Sorry about that.
No, I hate doing that to folks. I really do. But Mrs. Mayor, Tony, thanks for coming out today.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Again, Mrs. Mayor, Helen Michelassi, Tony Harris, City Administrator for the City of Clinton, our guest in studio. We follow up the Monday night Clinton City Council meeting. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network News comes your way next on the morning show.
WHOW.